Hey guys, what's going on? I told you I would do the 100-mile trail tested review of the Ultra Superior 2.0 version 2, and here it is. These guys have just a little bit over 100 miles on them, all trail. I've ran 3 races in them, 2 10Ks and a 12K. The most recent 10K was actually closer to 7 miles, and I mean, that race was a beast. For around here, it was like almost 7 miles and about 1,200 feet elevation gain. So, did a lot of uphill in them. Done a lot of uphill in them training as well. A lot of downhill, a lot of single track, a lot of technical stuff. Some gravel access roads. Yeah, a little bit of road here and there. Between trail sections or whatever. And they've been through it. They've been through running in the rain. They've been through mud puddles, creek crossings, all that stuff. So let's get into it. And here it is. Like I said, a little over 100 miles in. Let's get some good shots so you can see the damage or lack thereof. I mean, she's looking good. She's looking real good still. I mean, there really is no issues with the shoe that I can see. It seems to be very durable. You got some nicks and bumps and bruises here and there, but nothing major, nothing affecting the functionality of the shoe. And the tread, I mean, the tread looks great. I think it looks fantastic. Initially I had some concerns with these little foam knobs right here. I was worried those little guys were going to break off, pretty quick. And I've had no problems with them. They just, they've compressed, and I've hit rocks in them and roots in them and road in them, and they look great. Insoles look great. I mean, they're funky. But a lot of my insoles are just completely shredded. These are just funky. Stone guard, you wouldn't expect there to be much damage with that, I would think. I'm still running with the stone guard in. Give you guys some really good shots of the shoe so you can really see what's going on. Sorry if it's a little dark. I'm in the woods and I was trying not to have too much sun, getting a big old glare. I mean, even the inside of the shoe, in my opinion, looks great. I mean, I don't see stitching jacked up or anything. I think it looks good. Okay, let's talk about... Alright, I'm going to try to remember some of the issues I had initially with the shoe, and let's just start with, alright, right off the bat I remembered, I think it was in the left shoe. The rubber right here, yeah, it was in the left shoe. The rubber right here was pinching my toe. And I put the rock plate in, and I felt like that fixed the situation. It raised my foot up a little bit and helped out. I'm not sure what happened. And I figured when it broke in, it would eventually just bend over my toe and I wouldn't notice it. And I never notice it. And just a little example right here, sorry, of like just little nicks and stuff, no big deal. Anyway, and I don't notice it. I remember that was one thing I noticed off the bat. And then another thing I noticed on my right foot was heel slippage going uphill, especially steep hills. And it was really bad at first. And so I started using the lace. Well, I probably, knowing me, I had lace lock going right off the bat, because anytime I trail run I do lace lock. It keeps my foot secure, especially on the downhill. But I think on that first run I didn't really have them tightened up super tight. So on the next few runs I just gradually just kept tightening it. And I figured once the heel started compacting too, that would help. But it really hasn't compacted a lot. And my heel isn't slipping as bad as it was It's not even close, you know, but it's still noticeable to me, especially on the steeper up hills. But it's not something I dwell on the whole time around. I've gotten used to it. Is it ideal? No, but I'm not gonna let that ruin the shoe for me. They need to dial that in for people that have issues with heel slippage, which I do in all my shoes on the right foot. I always initially have an issue with heel slippage, but all of my shoes I've been able to remedy that one way or another, but I haven't been able to do it with this. But like I said, it's very minimal. Um, it hasn't caused me any problems with, you know, rubbing on my heel or my ankle or anything. So, you know, that's an issue for me, and I hope they can fix it. And yeah, like I said, just tightening them tighter. Make sure you're using lace lock, and and plus, I really needed to tighten my forefoot. You know, pull the laces tight on the forefoot too, and that definitely helped. So lace them up tight. That's what I had to do. Okay, so that's the heel. That was an issue I had. Let's see, on the left shoe, I noticed running downhill I was getting some slippage going forward, but like I think I talked about in the video, I probably needed to tighten that shoe up because I didn't have it like really tight on that first run, and that was the issue. I just, you know, pulled the laces tighter. You know, they were new, and I just you know, hadn't gotten used to the feel for them and the way they needed laced. And you know, 'cause some shoes you don't have to lace up as tight. I mean, you guys know all this. Some shoes you do. And so yeah, that fixed that issue. They're great downhill. Love them. The tread is awesome. These are the best shoes I've ran in the mud, and by far the displacement of mud is just unparalleled. You know, and it's because of the lug placement. They really spaced them out, and the mud just flies off them. They don't get caked up. You know, because I'm used to running in the Peregrines, which have these gnarly tread, these big teeth, and there's a ton of them, and they just hold mud. Great shoe too, but these do not hold mud. And speaking of the aggressive tread on the Peregrines, another great thing about this shoe is that tread is all that I need. It is as aggressive as I need. I run technical stuff all the time, big downhills, big uphills. That's all that I need. The Peregrines, so much tread, so gnarly, so deep that they would trip me a lot. Like I tripped in those all the time. Like it would, you know, they'd get caught up on a root or they'd hit a rock or whatever. I mean, I would trip a lot and fall a lot and get hurt a good bit as well. You know, nothing terrible, but still, it takes up time, especially if you're in a race. You don't want to be falling. I mean, I had a race, I fell twice in that race. I've had a couple races where I fell twice in a race really hard. And I have literally, you know, a little over 100 miles in these. I can count on one hand that I think I fell. I don't even think I've fallen 5 times in these, which for me is fantastic. And only one of those falls was in a race, but that had nothing to do with the shoe. There was a big mud hole, and I got sucked in and I fell. So nothing to do with the shoe. And speaking of mud holes, I was really concerned initially about how well are these guys gonna drain out water and just you know, breathe in general, because this fabric is not as meshy as I'm used to, and you got the big toe rand. I was really concerned with that, and they're great. I mean, they drain just as well as any other trail shoe or shoe that I've had. You know, the big test I had in them was I ran a 12K race. It was raining super hard. The single track was basically like running through a creek the whole time, and I mean, they felt great, man. They felt fantastic. Now, the flip side of that is, well, they were just wet the entire time, so I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was a nice sunny day and I ran through a creek in them and got them completely soaked all the way up, like how well did they dry after that, and, you know, whatever. But I have had them really wet on nice days, and, you know, got in creeks and went through mud puddles and stuff, and just been sweating a ton like I tend to do. And I mean, they feel great. I haven't had any issues with that. My Peregrines probably drained a little better, but it's not a noticeable difference to me, is what I'm getting at. So to me personally, I think they breathe great and they drain great, and I actually think that that toe rand, I thought it was going to hinder uh, water issues, but I think it might actually keep some water out, you know, because it comes so far up. So that, I was really concerned with that, and yeah, I think it was unfounded. Unfounded. Seems to drain well. Let's make sure I cover everything that I was gonna have. I had an issue with, or thought I was gonna have an issue with. And I think that's it, guys. You know, this video is going kind of long, but I want to be thorough and try to mention everything. And I think that I did. So, as always, guys, train hard, run, do what you do, and happy trails.